Hello, everyone. Dr. Baker back here reporting in for Literature Review Week. Hopefully, when you hear the words literature review at this point in your graduate career, you go, okay, I know what that means and I know what's coming for me. The literature review process is laborious, and that's certainly no secret. But because we're in such a constricted time frame, and because you're going to write a very miniature lit review this week, I want you to keep in mind that focusing your attention on four really strong studies is a way to gently scratch the surface of a topic that interests you without getting lost in the woods per se in terms of the literature. If you're looking at student engagement and you start by doing a journal search with the terms student engagement, you know very likely that you're going to wind up with 7,000 different citations to review. So I would encourage you to keep your focus pretty narrow in your search terms, not too narrow that you don't yield any results, but not so broad that you find yourself digging through heaps and heaps of literature. Um, in terms of other tips, I do like to use Google Scholar as a jumping off point because a lot of times it will direct me to specific journal articles that sound interesting. Now, I don't ever download the articles from Google Scholar. I just write down the citation and then go to the Anguish Library on the Ottawa website and then do it backwards and search for that particular journal and the volume number and find the article that way. You don't want to pay out of pocket for research studies because well, ideally you already have access to everything that you need through the Ottawa Library. There's also nothing wrong with starting right out of the gate with the Ottawa Library. Do make sure that you check the box that says limit your search to peer-reviewed or peer refereed journals only. That way you know you're working with empirical, scholarly, academic sources that are appropriate for our course and for all graduate level writing. Um, Literature reviews do need to be organized in some kind of manner, whether that's chronologically or thematically. What I really do want to make sure that you focus on is not writing an annotated bibliography where you say study one did this, study two did this, study three and study four, and then conclude. You want to weave together the story of the literature that exists in the topic of interest. And while you're weaving that story together, you also want to continually include reasons why your study needs to be a part of this canon, if you will, because your study should fill a gap or a void in the research. And hopefully, someday you'll endeavor a larger scale research project in this area or in another area of your interest, and publish something that does kind of find its place in the halls of the literature on the topic that is nearest and dearest to your heart. So if you have any questions or need any help with literature reviews, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. There are a ton of resources in our weekly materials. There's also a lot of resources that you have come across in your graduate journey. So I would encourage you to remember the coursework that you've done, especially in the initial Introduction to Research course that you may have taken with me or with someone else. But that's always a good place to start is what do I already know? And then how can I refine that knowledge even further yet again? Our textbook does a nice job of talking about literature reviews, and I hope you find it useful. Thanks, everyone.